What up, gamers?
Hopping in.
And non-gamers, we are not denominational here. We
Well,
accept all of gaming variety.
Eventually. Gamers first. We do accept all, but we are heavily
There's a pecking
prejudiced.
order.
Yeah.
Gamers first.
Intensely
Oh
segregated.
my god. That's the name of the new product. Gamers
sounds-
first.
That
It
was
sounds
fast.
like every terrible slogan we've heard from every single Venn or Quibi or whatever else.
Oh, hell yeah.
Man.
I'm surprised that the Microsoft conference didn't start with, you know what we believe in Microsoft? Gamers first. And then the crowd
Pause for applause, yeah.
Woo! Gamers!
That's me he's talking about. That's me.
I'm a gamer!
me. No, it's funny you bring that up because like Venn launched today. I'm sure we were all watching the gala premiere.
I gifted 500 subs to Venn. I didn't. I'm kidding. It's a
Okay,
joke.
I
didn't. No. I didn't do that.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say. I didn't want to dogpile on that. I was like, that's an interesting marketing move, trying to steal that Venn audience.
No.
But along the line of gamers first, man, I couldn't tell you how many times the verbiage kept hitting like we are trying to elevate gaming culture, and it's continuously leaning into this weird persecution or like subverted idea that gamers think they have, while also announcing that they're going to be a cross-cultural intersection of all pop culture. So they're leaning into this. This is a particular pet peeve of mine, and it specifically has nothing to do with Venn or anyone working on it or any of its content. Just the messaging of like, finally, gaming's time has come. And it's been the like top form of media in the world for the past decade. So its time came and went, and I'm just so annoyed that everyone still feels like it's this niche genre filled with these like good, like well-meaning but social outcasts who are just waiting to be accepted by a network. I mean, that happened with G4. Like, acceptance seems to be the only thing that people look back fondly on as the validation of having gaming content on TV.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you said something quite controversial. Actually, it reminded me of that, what's that show, The Newsroom, I think? You know, like that first, like, you know, clip that they share all the time of, like, the main character at, like, a college, you know, debate and being like, America has fallen. Like, or, you know, America's not the greatest country in the world, but it can be. And then there's, like, a whole speech about...
Yeah, that's
like,
the Newsroom,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah. You just did the same thing, but with gaming. So I'd ask you to defend that. You said gaming has been great, but it's not anymore. What happened, Lawrence? What happened to gaming?
Okay, bit of a swerve there. I didn't know that gaming wasn't great anymore.
You just said so.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
Criken thinks that you said... I heard
that.
Did Lawrence say that gaming isn't good anymore?
Well, not great, but it's like not the best. Like
That's
it's
true.
you know, it's fallen.
Well,
Gaming has fallen.
Has gaming fallen?
If I were a YouTuber, which actually I guess I am, here's how you turn that around. Is basically you enough with the hold on, crap. People are at mentioning me. Cool, thanks for that. And it won't go away either. I have to like streamer mode turns itself off, which is a real fun thing. Anyway,
On Discord?
yeah, I don't know why. Where was I? Oh yeah. So sorry. Here's the YouTuber angle on why gaming used to be good. Because back in the day, games journalists weren't shills. All right, you went to XPlay and
What?
you got
Whoa.
Hey, I'm the
Wait a minute,
YouTuber here.
hold on.
Hey,
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
XPlay didn't shill like these journalists do now. All right, you want a real review? You went to G4, where they would really dice games apart, and they weren't afraid to pull any punches. Or like GamePro magazine, where the writing was good and well researched. Now you just have idiot SJW journalists ruining gaming. All right. I kind of took it to an angle there. Maybe I should have left that out. But so that's how we make it good again. We bring back G4 because it worked the first time. It worked
we're
the
already
second
doing
time.
that.
No, it worked every time, and it's gonna work again.
We're bringing back G4. We're doing Venn. We're doing... Well, there's another one, too. Isn't there another fucking video game network that's coming out soon? That's some other ridiculous... I was like, what? Why do we need so many of these? Sorry, go ahead, Criken.
I'm just confused why that... that's not the direction I expect you to take. So gaming is determined by the media that covers it in terms of like journalists, because I'd never seen that as
it's the culture, Criken. It's the culture. It's gaming culture, all right? And back in the day, when I was 12 and my tastes in gaming had never been more accurate, and my consumption of TV media was as cultured and as educated as it ever could be, that's when games journalism was good. And it's bad now that I'm an adult.
I'm going to say something that I say on, I think, literally every podcast, which is nostalgia. Nostalgia colors your opinion. Nostalgia colors you always think that the time in your life that was the best time in everybody's lives of all time.
90s, baby.
And it turns out you're wrong. That's not true. That's not
the
what
90s.
happened.
Bruce,
no,
you're forgetting.
Not but the 90s,
no,
not but the aughts, not
Bruce,
but the 80s.
Bruce, the 90s though.
No,
don't you remember?
No, it's just
you
like
wouldn't
how
get it. Only 90s kids know.
Only Zoomers think that they're better than millennials. Millennials think they're better than Gen Xers. Gen Xers think they're better than baby boomers. It turns out we've all had our fucking ups and downs. Everybody's had it hard. Everybody's had it easy. So just be cool.
Yeah, but we have it especially hard.
Why do we have it especially hard?
We're in a pandemic.
We are in a pandemic, but also we get to do this. We make a living from our fucking seats.
By we, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about my generation. I am the voice of my generation. I'm sorry, I didn't clarify that. I'm the voice of my generation.
The generation before the baby boomers, which I don't know the name of, went through the flu pandemic of 1918, and I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 million people died. You know that?
So wait, what does this have to do with gaming? Gaming is the nexus, but also we're going to talk about Game of Thrones and Marvel movies and hip-hop music and lifting weights, I guess. But gaming...
Lifting weights.
I mean, sorry, there is a Venn show about lifting weights, I guess.
There is. I saw.
Yeah. I hate. So let me. I guess dismiss any preconceptions. I don't want anything to fail, but I can't. It's like it's really tough for me to hide my bitterness at being involved. And Bruce, man, you're probably more here than shouldn't say you're more there than I am, but having seen this exact thing happen in exactly the same way multiple times in a row.
100%.
It's really hard for me to like root for these new ventures with like pure enthusiasm and honest good faith.
Yeah, I mean they're out to make money, so that's good that you don't blindly accept them, because I mean they're out to make money from you, Lawrence, because you're a gamer. So
you're right.
they want to do that, but at the same time maybe they will come out with something that is content that you'll watch and you'll like. And that's, to me, that this is sort of like the same thing that I think, Lawrence, you and I were saying on Inside Gaming, which was with VR. VR needed a killer app. It needed something that made VR good. And what the hell? And a phone call. So VR really doesn't have anything. I mean, even now, Half-Life Alyx is probably the closest to a killer app, and it still hasn't sold that much for VR. And it's the same with Venn. Venn needs a show that everybody likes. And right now, it doesn't have that. Venn has just got a bunch of other, gaming news programs that we all know and we've all seen 100 times.
Now, Bruce, hold on. Now,
okay,
hold on a minute. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Here's the thing. What do gamers love to do with their computers?
Porn.
They do. They love porn. Yeah.
That's fair, but what's the second favorite thing that gamers like to do with their gaming systems,
Twitter.
Well, you can't really scroll Twitter on Xbox. Wait, can you? Is Twitter on Xbox? Well, okay, let's just let's skip the gaming, all right? But what happens before you hard game? You have to do something to that game.
I only soft game. I don't want to get this.
Well, then Ven is not for you. Oh wait, no, it is for you. Actually, sorry, it's all pop culture. But you download, right? Okay, so let's have a show called The Download because everyone on the internet loves to download things. And now hold on a minute, Bruce.
What? I didn't have to say the word.
Talking.
I didn't say a word. Yeah. What is it?
Let me stop you right there, Bruce.
I didn't say nothing.
What if we gave people laptops so they could like scroll through things and put them around a table?
Lawrence, hold on.
Wait.
What about this? What about if we give people tablets with removable keyboards?
That's a branding opportunity right there too. Ooh, that's win-win, baby.
You bet it is. That's right.
I think we got ourselves a killer show here. Covering the hottest news. I'm being cynical again. I'm sorry. This is shitty.
No, what Lawrence is trying to say is we've seen the people sitting around a table with laptops show talking about video games for the last, I guess almost 20 years. I think G4 debuted in 2003, something like that. So we've seen that for almost 20 years. And we're not saying that it's bad, but I think what I was going to get to, Lawrence, eventually about Venn and anything else, it's all personality driven. It's not about the sets. It's not about the quality of the graphics. It's not about what laptop they have. It's about who's on the show. And everybody here knows that watches on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. They all know. It's all driven by personality, and it always will be. So if they have the right personalities, then that's good. We're good.
Good point. Boone has an interesting comment. You should have a phone number to call in. You should take caller's opinion. It's funny you mentioned that. I actually tried to produce a show like that a while ago, and it turns out people hate hearing other people be awkward. They hate it with a deep, deep passion. So I realized
which is why I'm the least favorite of the trio on this podcast. People are always
you're not the least favorite.
Oh, I'm getting DMs all the time saying, Criken, what you said was cringe back there.
No, DMs.
They're slipping in there, and they're ripping me a new one, because whenever I go on these tangents, everyone, all they do is plug their ears with their little cotton balls, and they wait till I'm done.
No, hey, chat.
Get them cotton balls out, please. Give me a shot.
Here's what I need you to do right now, chat, both in Lawrence's chat and my chat. I need you to tell us who your favorite is on the podcast, say Criken.
Oh, no.
Who your favorite is on the podcast, say Criken. Okay? All right,
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Here it comes. I can't wait.
We're
just going to see walls of Criken. Oh, no. Somebody just wrote Bruce. Hold on. Boone.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Hi, Criken.
PETA.
Looks like all of Lawrence chat is saying Lawrence.
Lawrence. They're all saying Lawrence.
I've indoctrinated them properly.
Guys.
You were supposed to say Criken.
You threw me under the bus.
I'll take the what's the honorable mention. I've always been an honorable mention, and that's
no, that's not true. Look, at least we're not sitting around a table with laptops, right, Lawrence?
Okay, hold on. I've actually never watched G4. I don't want to out myself.
How dare you?
Look,
that was my livelihood for years.
It's only ever been on like in a doctor's office or some shit when I was a kid, and I would watch it a little bit, and I'd be like, oh, they're talking about games. That's fun. But it was never like where I got my game news, because I would just get that on the internet. So why would I watch a TV show about games?
You were like everybody else. Let me tell you. Right. Because nobody watched G4. I saw the ratings every week. I know. And also, the most important part of what you just said was, you got your gaming news from the fucking blog or from a video or something else like that you would just go on the internet and look up gaming news. And we always used to make a joke about the show Cheat on G4. Cheat would give you cheat codes, but through a television show, which is the most ridiculous thing. Because they used to be like, okay, so then all you want to do is, here's the code to get invincibility in Contra 3.
Did you get all that?
Up, A, B, 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 right. And you're like, what the fuck? Are you supposed to write that down while you're watching television? No. Use the fucking internet. So we always used to make fun of G4's content when we worked at G4, because we knew it was internet content. We knew it was supposed to be on the internet. We knew it wasn't supposed to be on television.
Did that ever at what level was that self-aware within the company or the studio? It
was. We were everybody, from the very, very top, the hosts, Kevin and Olivia, all the way down to the producers and stuff. We would all joke about that on television. That was the point. We knew we were making internet content, but the internet hadn't quite gotten to that point yet. So G4 was sort of in the weird middle ground of television wasn't really right for that stuff, but then also the internet wasn't ripe for it yet. So we all knew, and we still enjoyed what we were producing, and we liked it, but it wasn't always television content. I don't know.
So I have a question for you, Bruce, because I feel like out of all of us, you've traveled this path the most, especially with Venn launching and G4 supposedly coming back sometime, and also X-Play and all that. Do you, with YouTube being what it is and games media kind of maturing outside of the TV broadcast system, or even just like the traditional production system, do you think, what's the path that a more like, I guess for lack of a better word, officially produced show or a linear TV show, what's the path for that to be relevant now that we have online media that basically satisfies everyone's desire for gaming content in exactly the way they want it, exactly when they want it, to exactly the depth that they want it?
I mean, nobody's going to want to hear this, especially like, I mean, who knows? Like, by the way, guys, we could all end up working with or for Venn. Not for, but with Venn. We could be making content for them.
I would gladly do it. So, yeah, I'm trying to, like, I don't wanna sound like too much of an asshole.
No, but I mean, like, we all could, or with G4, or with any of these other networks. And the thing it always boils down to is that it's boutique. So you're always speaking specifically to the audience that you want. You're like, yeah, if you want a really broad audience, then you produce something that's for a really broad audience, but you still have to please a really wide swath of people. But if you want to make a specific show for a specific group of people, then you could do that. But the problem is that's not what television is. That's what the internet is. That's what YouTube is. That's what Twitch is. You're speaking to, like tiny little groups of people across the internet on Twitch or on YouTube. Like Criken's got, your 3,000 people that watch your stream, and Lawrence and I have our 400, 500 people that are like, we've got these little groups of people. But when you start widening out, then gamers, I don't know. I feel like people that play video games, if they're already enthusiasts, they don't like seeing their stuff dumbed down. So there's a very really thin line that you've got to ride if you're making something for a really broad audience that are gamers, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, Criken, what about you as a games media consumer? It doesn't sound like you were really hooked on G4 back in the day. So
yeah,
I'm curious where your tastes lie.
I'm curious to see what they're thinking, because if there wasn't really space for them in the market back then, there's definitely not space right now. Like, people don't think of TV as a place to get, like, TV's already struggling, so to launch a new media, well, no, that's the wrong word. A show focused on new media content on old media is like, just feels like a really big mismatch. So maybe they've got some plans that I don't know of, but and like a budget, and they can do a lot more with it. Like maybe they're trying to be kind of a year-round E3 style thing where they can have rolling announcements and interviews and insider knowledge and about from game studios. But like, I just feel like that's not how the games industry works. Like, it's not built that way, so it feels kind of forced. So I'm not optimistic, but hey, I'm sure some smart people have to be behind it, so I'm sure they know what they're doing, and I'm hoping to be surprised.
There are some really smart people behind it. Some of the co-CEOs, I think one of them is from, I think, Riot, right, Lawrence? And then one of them is from, gosh darn it, they were like from, BlizzCon, Blizzard Entertainment, like so Blizzard and Riot, and I'm looking at a Deadline article about it, and they're the guys that started it, and they've got a round of like $17 million in funding. There is no parent company. They just got a bunch of investors. And clearly they're looked up to.
17 million?
Yeah.
What would you say the runway on that is? Like for a full production studio paying like By the way, like a brief aside, when it comes into the money part of it, I was actually pretty impressed. Like Venn found a way to do social distance production. Their sets, some of the camera angles can look a little rough because they have to be 6 feet apart. And so they have talking head shows where it's like people at the hugest desk in the world so that they can be separated. But 17 million, I feel like, I don't really know the numbers on what it takes to operate a whole slate of productions like that. But clearly that buys them some time to get viewership numbers, to get on networks, to get syndicated, to have other people carry their stuff so they can claim viewership, far beyond what their viewership probably actually is. I'm not saying Venn specifically. I don't know why I'm holding a ball trimmer. I just grab things with my hands, I guess, balls included. I'm not trying to imply that that's just what production is. That's just the game. Is you get the numbers and then you either sell or you sell those numbers to advertisers. I don't know, how long would you say they have, and how much time have they bought with 17 million?
So I think that right now, just so Lawrence and Criken, you guys will know this. They have a studio in Playa Vista, and we all know how much that costs.
Yeah,
it costs a pretty penny to do that. My guess is just off the 17 million, and that's not like Lawrence, you were saying, they're sponsored by T-Mobile, and I'm sure they've raised additional funds here and there with ad buys and stuff like that. But just the 17 million probably buys them 2 years.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's probably about 2 years. Maybe like a year and a half, if they're really just throwing money away. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. The personalities they have, well, I'm not saying anything about the personalities because I don't know them, but they're probably not paying them very much. I would imagine a lot of that money is going into their ad sales team. It's going into their studios and their sets and their rent and their executive salaries and a lot of stuff. But the talent themselves, while I don't know if they're good or bad, I don't know them. So it's weird. It's weird to me that they don't have an anchor talent. Like there isn't somebody there that they're like, we got Criken. We got the most well-known person in the gaming industry, the
voice of the generation,
the voice of a generation, Criken, and we're paying Criken $1 million a year or whatever to do this.
I'll watch that.
But they didn't do that. Instead, they got a bunch of people that a few of which I know and have met and I've met and talked to, and they're really cool. But I don't know that they bring with them.
Oh, did they already announce who their cast is?
Oh, they're broadcasting. They're broadcasting now.
Yeah, today was their big premiere.
G4. Yeah, it started today.
I thought it was
not Venn.
Venn, yeah, not G4. Not G4.
Which, brief aside,
Venn is.
some people in chat were confused about what Venn is, so I apologize. We really didn't establish the conversation well.
Me.
Yeah, it's Criken, the Criken channel.
No. I don't know what it is. I'm one of them.
Sorry. Venn, Venn, is a gaming network, but right out the gate, they're already saying it's gaming, but it's also pop culture and music, and so it's everything. They're launching a new entertainment network basically with a variety of shows that are produced over the internet. Some of them are, and I again will try very hard to not be jaded. But their programming lineup is sort of the whiteboard that I've seen over and over again for the past 15 years. It's just kind of all the ideas that seem like good ideas, but then kind of not saying that Venn will run into this, but in the past has certainly borne it out that those ideas rarely pan out into quality content that can pull people away from the content they're already watching, which is, I think, the issue is ripping people off the sticky content they're already well into, of the YouTube channels they watch that specifically and hyper serve their specific interests. So, but yeah, it's a type of diagram that's that's the branding, right? Is that it's the overlap of gaming and then everything else that we can do ad sales with.
It's a Venn diagram. Yeah,
exactly. So that's the setup. It launched today. I was actually watching the premiere just before the podcast. So that's kind of why it's foremost on my mind, especially since again, speaking purely personally, that's a world that I have stepped away from for the past 6 months or so. So it's just all this stuff is sort of getting jumbled up in my head again. Seeing somebody else step up to the plate and swing at it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
They have somebody mentioned in chat, and I'm sure I know why they mentioned it in chat. They have Sasha Gray. Sasha Gray is relatively noticeable. Do you guys know who Sasha Gray is, Criken and Lawrence?
I'm aware.
Yeah, I shot a video with her.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Did I do that too? I can't remember if I did that too.
I think you were there that day. I don't know if you actually were on camera with her.
I don't remember either. Either way, they have people like that, but I don't like it. So I guess what I'm saying is Ven's going to have to go for 2 years. It's going to have to go for 2 years. And after 2 years is when you're finally going to go, oh, they've got that one show with that one person. That's what it's going to be. But right now isn't it. And they have to hope that they've got enough runway at the end of the 2 years that they can go like, oh shit, we're actually like just about to break even. Let's keep going. Or they blow all their money in the first year. And then at that point, they won't have built up the personality they needed to continue the network. It's just going to boil down to that. I mean, it always does. That's why Twitch and YouTube, the personalities that you guys watch on a daily basis, that's why they have such an advantage. Because Criken was able to start when he was 15. Lawrence was able to just like be like, you know what? I'm just going to go and stream for a little bit. And hey, I might take a hit on money. I might take a hit on that or whatever. But I could use this to build up my my little tiny business here. And it's the same with me. Like it's this tiny little business that we're building up very, very slowly. Whereas Venn is a television network. And they're blowing millions of dollars on this thing that may or may not work. And they're not going to see a profit for years. And that doesn't always work out. Tell you the truth, it very rarely works out. So it's but hey, who knows? Venn could be the Tesla of gaming networks. You never know. You never know.
I have a question. I guess I have a question for you, Bruce, you, Criken, and also chat. I am really fascinated about this because a lot of I think millennials and Gen Zers got excited about G4, but I wonder, like, if G4 existed in exactly the same way now, I really doubt. Maybe this is again my cynicism, but I doubt that somebody who really wants a game review would wait like 3 weeks to see a 5-minute review that's half, maybe 50% success rate jokes. Is there still a market for that? I guess the best analog is like somebody like Angry Joe. He comes out with a review way later, but it's hyper produced, crammed with jokes and bits. And maybe that's the closest analog I can think of. But what, like, so Trey says I would just go to YouTube for reviews. Can you imagine a niche outside of what Bruce said, which is finding good talent that somehow doesn't already have their own YouTube channel or doesn't have their own place? Like, what's left? What content can a gaming network or a gaming forward network bring you that you don't already see faster and better and more tuned to what you want? That's kind of where my head's been spinning lately. So I'm curious what you guys think. Probably should have directed that. Yeah, Criken, go.
I guess I'm trying to formulate the question into answerable terms. The question is, what is the scenario in which you would watch a review on TV compared to internet, or
just gaming content in general? What gaming content do you yearn for that has yet to be satisfied by the internet and independent content creators?
I think I'm always curious what really creative people like us would do with like a much bigger scope and scale, and given a lot more runway, where it's not like, oh shit, I got to stream tomorrow. What am I going to do? All right, I'll message this person. This game is coming out recently. I guess I can make an overlay that'll take me 2 hours. Okay, let's see. I'll make a chat bot. I can do sub sounds. All right, that's going to take me another like 30 minutes to get sounds from this game, and then put that as a like sub alert. That's kind of the extent of our production and bandwidth right now. But if we had a whole studio behind us, and this is also, I mean, I'm biased because this is partly what I'm kind of committing my job to now outside of streaming, is to build out this sort of resource for streamers. But I think that streamers in general, and I think I talked to you guys about this when I did the Operation Kingpin thing like a year or some ago, like last November, or last January. Streamers have like the most unique set of skills right now, I think, as entertainers in this industry. Between our ability for improv, but also playing off of a faceless, constantly adapting audience, like that stuff you don't get trained for in acting school. So I think there's a really interesting and really massive set of skilled and trained entertainers out here that are kind of locked in their kind of personal amateur production, and could be opened up with a bit more budget and, studio backing and foresight, you can actually plan a show where we can use what we've learned from streaming in a lot more widespread way, I guess, is kind of how I'm imagining it.
That's a really good point. I never even thought of that. You're totally right, Craig. And that's like a bunch of people with really interesting skills that have never existed before. Like literally never. To answer your question previous, Lawrence, the only thing that I'm looking for on the internet that I don't have yet is again, personality based content. That's all it is. So if I could find any number of reviews, but if I really agree with Ben Kuchera, and I love Ben Kuchera's reviews, then I'm always going to go and look for Ben Kuchera's review, and that's what I'm saying about Ven or G4 or whatever. It's like, well, what does, Kevin Pereira think about this video game? He's like, I'm going to go watch G4 for that. Or what does Morgan Webb think of, Ghost of Tsushima? Oh, well, I'll go check out X-Play. It's like, that's the whole point, is that there has to be this, like, it's not, we said this 1,000 times when we were at Machinima. It's not about the Machinima brand. It's about the people at Machinima. And that same thing applies to all of your life, by the way. It's not about the brand that was made. It's not about like Kleenex, or it's not about Comcast. It's about the people at Comcast. It's about the people at Kleenex that make that stuff, and they stamp their personality on it. So it's the same deal. But now, since personalities are so accessible on Twitch and YouTube, they have to be even more accessible on these weird gaming networks now.
Okay, that I have a follow-up question then, Bruce, because I wholly agree. I think I think you identified it before I think anyone else that I knew did, is that personality was at the heart of everything. Here's the real fun question: can you envision a system where a personality who is carrying the content, for lack of a better phrase, can you envision a system where a network or a corporation or whatever pays them enough to make them want to stay? Because if it's all them and they're carrying it, then I think, like we've seen, sooner or later those people figure out that they can just leave, and then they take the audience with them, and then they can do all the work themselves or hire representation. So it's this interesting and from my visibility, which is not absolute, seems like an almost unsolvable problem, where the network system either gets big talent they can't afford in perpetuity, or they groom has connotations. They find new personalities that then grow and mature with. Holy crap! There's so many loud planes outside. They find new talent, and then that talent blossoms, and eventually that talent figures out that they're getting underpaid or underserved. So I don't know.
Right.
I feel like the system is such that if personalities are carrying your network, to the network itself, the tax that goes into running a network and having an HR department and a legal department and sales that kicks off at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday to go drink, and all of these things that start to happen in a corporate system, and all these little elements of bloat, it eventually means that person who is, or those people who are at the core of it, will figure out that they are doing a lot of heavy lifting for the sake of an entire company that doesn't really reward them to the extent they feel that they should be rewarded. And again, the cycle just turns anew. So I wonder if it's possible to, is it even possible to do this? It's crashed so many times.
I would say, in my perfect world, I think studios and networks should take lessons from the models that are currently working, which is Twitch and YouTube. But the subscription systems that are now prevalent for supporting any creators that you're fans of. There's ways, I think, not necessarily through a subscription to an individual within a show, but if you can track, okay, this segment is doing this well, if there's mechanics of that show that let you measure audience kind of retention and engagement, and then you give the host of that show that is the one driving it a cut of a proportional cut based on how much they're able to kind of drive people behind it, and then they're motivated to do a better job, and the studio owns the means of how they can run this show and reach this audience, and then it's just kind of a scaling performance kind of payout.
So I can have some insight because you guys are both headed towards exactly the same conclusion, which is the inmates run the asylum. And that's what it should be, and that's what it always should have been. And by the way, that's what YouTube and Twitch is. A YouTube channel is run by the person that is the talent. Twitch channel is run by the person that's the talent. They're the producer and the talent. And knowing the things that I know about G4 now, in the sense that G4 is coming back in like a year or whatever it is, the people that were the inmates in the asylum at G4 are now running it. So the names that I've seen named were like Brian Terwilliger and Blair Herder and another guy named Mike Shaw. These were all people that I worked side by side with as producers at G4. And we were always like, man, these executives are fucking it up. Because we knew the executives were fucking it up. And now, ideally, they are able to then run it correctly because they know the mistakes that were made. It might be too late, by the way. It may be too late for that. I don't know. But the people that I worked with side by side that were the producers there are now going to be running it. And that, in my opinion, is the only way that this can work, is the person that has seen all sides of it, has seen the talent side, has seen the producer side, has seen the business side, all of it, and can now bring all those skills to bear and be like, okay, like let's figure out a way to run G4 the way it should have been run 10 years ago. And Venn also, I don't know the people behind Venn. I don't know them nearly as well as I know the people that maybe starting G4 again. But like, I was reading through the names. Mark Merrill, who's a co-founder of Riot. Mike Morheim, who's a co-founder of Blizzard. Kevin Lin, who's a co-founder of Twitch. Like, these are all founders of like huge companies that became very, very successful. And these are people that have invested in Venn. So are they too far removed from building that brand that they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Are they now too rich? Are they too out of touch? Or are they still down in the trenches? And do they still know what makes good content even, 10, 15 years later? When, I mean, we've seen so many sea changes across all of this content and across the internet. I mean, fucking, you guys, we're adapting to new content every 6 months on Twitch or YouTube. So it's really interesting. It's always been about the inmates running the asylum. I think that's the best way to put it for me, and I hope that that's what happens. I don't know. We'll see.
I like that interpretation. I think that's a pretty progressive, but like really grounded interpretation. It's a tough one to affect from the bottom up. We just need and who knows? Maybe G4, if it is really run by the old kind of guard that used to, be the front facing people that were intimately involved with production, then maybe they do have more share that perspective and like we can actually change stuff. But who knows? I think more companies will head that direction in the future. It's just kind of a domino effect, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, like Lawrence and I were, I don't want Lawrence to sound too cynical. I don't want to sound too cynical, but I want these things to succeed so that I have stuff to watch. I want to watch new stuff that I like. I bought in wholly to G4 when it was first on television. When it was like in 2002, 2003, whatever it was. When I discovered G4, I was in. I watched that shit all the fucking time. And I knew it was cringy. I knew it was bad, but I'd never seen it before. It was new. So I loved it. So I fucking loved it. And I showed all my friends and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe video games on fucking television. It's blowing my mind. So that I don't know that we have that anymore. I don't know that we have innovation when it comes to Venn or G4. This may just be retreading old ground. I don't know.
Well, I appreciate the attempt. It's like, despite my rampant cynicism, it is always so much easier to sit back and be like, I tried it before, let's not try it again. So iterating and attempting and pursuing and pivoting, like that's how success happens. It's not necessarily that you come out of the gate strong. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the journey too. I think the ultimate tragedy in the inmates running the asylum scenario is that you have people come in at the top and sort of guide the process in the way that they identified were problems before, but then they run into the same problems and can't find a way to fix them.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be the ultimate thing of like you come in from the talent or the production side and now you're executive producing or something like that, and you start to see the same problems happen where your highest rated shows, the talent on that show starts making demands, and you're like, you know what, great, we'll take care of you, we'll make sure you want to stay here and you don't start looking. But I could definitely see that talent hunger just going and going and going. I feel like sometimes the more you give somebody, the more they think they deserve, or I don't know. Ambition is an interesting thing. But yeah, I would empathize very fully with somebody who went through it the first time and like, come back, okay, we're going to do it right. And then despite their best intentions, the same thing keep happening. That makes my skin crawl to think about, but that's why it's brave to step up and try, you know?
It really is. And it's there's a lot of money lost, as we've seen, and I think the larger metaphor, or I guess analog to what a Venn or a G4 is like CISO or Quibi, or what was the name of that fucking Go 90? Those they're like just VOD services that Verizon or whoever else will put on and throw a fucking bunch of money at and be like, look at this, all these cool shows you want to watch, like blank and blank, and then like shows you've never heard of and never wanted to see, and like, why would I ever watch this? It always comes back down to that they have to have something that people like. It's just that simple. Just come up with one show. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard. It's such an interesting thing. There must be an ad sales bridge that we don't know about. Because like maybe ad sales like T-Mobile will go to Venn and go like, Venn, we need you to have 10 programs, not 1, 10. And they have to be, they've got to be a news program. There's got to be an arcade program. There's got to be a personality, blah, blah, blah. And so then they want to buy across all 10 versus just coming up with one really good show to start Venn. I don't know. I don't know why. I can't figure it out.
I guess you have to seem like it's already a fertile valley filled with content and viewers to everyone. You have to like come out of the gate talking like you're already a success. We already have this whole network. We have a Venn universe that's thriving. And meanwhile, it's a whiteboard filled with like, what if we taught somebody to play a video game? Like, what if we got an esports star and challenged them to be good at other games? Like, and that one's circled with like an arrow pointing to it. I feel like, I'm not sure. And Bruce, I know you and I have talked about it, but that's why it's so intoxicating to sort of scale organically. Do a bunch of experiments, see which ones have a little spark to them, and put more resources on it until you find the extent of that flame, and then just be like, okay, that's good. Instead of having to start at the top and then drag everything up to that level, start at the bottom. Bottom is not exactly true because we both. I think we all have a certain amount of legacy, but yeah, like Criken
started from the bottom. Criken started from the very, very beginning. Like that's what he did.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah.
14 years old. No one cared about me, and now look at me.
Got $1 million contract on Venn.
No, I think you have a good point, Lawrence. That's kind of actually how I see. That's like my favorite thing about Twitch. If I had to kind of boil it down, is it's a really great medium to experiment and try something new, either creatively, like personality wise, multiplayer versus like solo act stuff, and like how you run your show is very organic and modular, and like you can kind of evolve it over time. And therefore, if you make a new, like I'm launching a new series, this is how I'm going to run this series. And you see, okay, after like a month, do people want more of that? Is it actually performing as well as the other stuff? If so, maybe actually I want to move my channel more that direction. And it's a lot easier to do that in this than I would argue any other medium, like even YouTube. YouTube's probably second best, but like, YouTube's a lot more rigid than even Twitch is.
No, it's true. That's true. I just really hope it works. Like I said, the only reason I always hope this stuff goes well is because I'm sure there are a lot of really good people working for Venn, a few of which I know. And it's the same with G4. I always hope that these sorts of things succeed. But the thing I know about business is that most of the time, the businesses that start really, really small and scale up slowly, or have some sort of, really, really amazing product to start with and then branch off from that. That's the way those businesses succeed, generally. Not always, but generally. There are a few exceptions, like Netflix and Tesla. But Netflix honestly started with a really amazing concept of streaming video, and nobody had ever done it before. Mm-hmm. Tesla's the same way. Started with an amazing concept with just an electric car that was something that people hadn't seen before, really. Made for the consumer. And now they've scaled up, and they're Tesla's just started making money. Netflix is still losing a fuck ton of money. But they started with that amazing concept. Now there's the flip side, which is starting really small, building your business from the ground up organically, and eventually it gets to be this, titan of industry. But that takes 20, 30 years. So there's Lawrence and I have seen this time and time again, where there's like a bunch of angel investors will come in and throw a bunch of money at it, and then it disappears in a year. And we all go, what? Why did they do that? I don't know.
I think it's a mentality I don't ever understand. But when an investor can throw $5 million at something, just maybe because it might pay off, who knows? That's the stuff that blows my mind. There are investors out there that all they need is a real solid 30-minute pitch from a money bro that they trust, and they're in for like 10 mil. Because when you're investing, like all you need is one or two of your investments to pay off big. At least that's my very crappy poor person understanding of how that mentality can work sometimes.
Speaking of which, yes, chat's right. Netflix started with DVDs in the mail, but which, by the way, was also a concept you'd never heard of. And they pivoted so hard that I forgot they even did that. So it's they still started with a concept that nobody really tried before, and they made it work. So it requires that silver bullet if you're going to start that way. Not a lot of people have that.
Very true. Other thing another cycle that I've seen a lot is that some people do have that silver bullet, and then everything else they try to scale into doesn't quite pan out. That's always an interesting dynamic. Is I guess it's that lightning in a bottle phenomenon. How you land the jump once, so people give you a lot of money to keep jumping, and then it's just trip after trip after trip after that. But it's a fun ride to burn the money, I guess. Which, I mean, speaking of, I guess we'll see how long it takes for Venn to start throwing huge parties with celebrity DJs and stuff.
Oh man!
Hopefully they won't.
Are you kidding? They're going to do that right away. We're all going to be invited to a Venn party.
We're going to get invited?
Post-COVID. I guarantee we're all on that list, baby.
Post-COVID. All right, so never.
So 9 months from now or whatever. But post-COVID, we're all going to that big old Venn party. It's going to be DJ'd by Drake, and it's going to be fucking awesome. All right, guys? I hope you're excited.
I'm excited so much. I miss parties.
I miss parties too. That's by the way, speaking of making money from the ground up, we have an ad read today.
No way!
Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by NordVPN. That's right.
They came back.
NordVPN came back. They like our podcast so much they still want to continue selling on it. So, yes, this podcast, Talk to the Internet, is brought to you by NordVPN.com, which is a VPN service. If you guys don't know what a VPN service is, it's basically it routes your internet traffic through a bunch of different servers throughout the world, protecting all of your data, protecting your internet traffic in general. I'm assuming most people that are listening to this know what a VPN is. So I'll start with the deal. It is the last chance, I think today or one of the last few days, to get this 3-year deal for $3.49 a month, $3.50 a month. You go to nordvpn.com/talk2internet and use coupon code talk2internet to get 70% off a 3-year plan and an extra month for free. So it's $3.49 a month for 3 years. It ends up being about $126 to use NordVPN for 3 years. Like I said, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what NordVPN has over other VPN services. They're super fast servers, 5,500 plus servers in 60 countries. You can unlock Netflix. Like if it's region locked, you can watch Netflix in another region and other entertainment websites. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, if you pay for the 3-year contract, $125, $126, and you're like, you know what? I'm not even using this. You get your money back in a month. No problem. There's also a faster connection through a VPN than most other VPNs with NordLynx. And NordLynx is basically, to not explain it too much, but NordLynx uses a WireGuard protocol, which generally speeds up your VPN speeds up to twice. And then in addition, WireGuard was sort of regarded as not very secure. Well, NordVPN worked on their own technology to make it secure called NordLynx. So combining WireGuard with NordLynx, you've got a super fast VPN that you can use for 3 years if you use our coupon code. You can also use it on up to 6 simultaneous connections. It works even in China. I know nobody's going anywhere for a very long time, but if you were going to China, you could use it. You could use it. So again, this podcast is brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN.com/talk2internet. Get the 3-year deal for $3.49 a month. You get 70% off the 3-year plan and an extra month for free. We thank you again, NordVPN, for sponsoring our little podcast.
Thanks, Nord.
Helping us build this little guy from the ground up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
awesome.
it, Lawrence.
Yeah,
Back to you.
My hold on, my Nord command wasn't turned on, but now it is. Unlimited.
You were showing Nord on the.
Oh yeah,
You were showing Nord on the stream too.
Visual accompaniment. The whole 9 yards. Production was out the wazoo today.
Wow, thank you, Lawrence. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Trying to check off all boxes. Yes, thank you, NordVPN. With what is it? Net neutrality dead and gone. I think it's about time to start looking towards private industry to anonymize your user data, because things are going to get weird. It won't happen overnight, and you probably won't notice. That's the problem. All of the companies that want to bend the internet to their will are going to try to make it as invisible as possible. So
it's the turning the temperature up with the frog in the pot. Is it frog?
yes,
Probably not frog. It is frog.
It is the frog, yeah. Because he doesn't realize it's getting boiled, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
he's dying.
Yeah. So we're saying, why don't you switch pots? Wait, no, not quite. I'm trying to save this analogy. Yeah, hop out onto on the nearby diving board, and then subscribe to NordVPN for 3 months.
There we go.
3 years. 3 years.
3 years, yes, 3 years. A lot of people were asking again. I'll say it. The total cost there is about $126, because people were like $349 a month for 3 years. I can't do the math. Well, I did it. It's $126. So there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you, NordVPN. I've never eaten boiled frog legs. Oh wait, no, I take that back. I think I did.
I tried, but then I got really sad because I like frogs, and as a kid I had like a pet frog, and then I got sad, so I stopped.
You had a pet frog?
Not really an official one. I think I told the story on stream before at some point.
Yes,
an unofficial frog. It was a wild frog in my backyard. Did I tell this story?
I don't know that you did.
Okay. Let's see.
Is this the one where you like borrowed it from the classroom and brought it home? Am I?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't me. This is a story where, as a kid, I loved playing outside. I loved worms. I had like a lot of friends. Like the worms are my friends. I'd get in the dirt,
nice.
and I'd like
That's
play
really
with
nice.
them. I wouldn't hurt them. I was very careful not to hurt any animals.
Of course.
And then I found a frog that lived in my backyard, specifically under this little stone slab in the corner of my backyard. And so every day I'd go and I'd open it, and he'd just be resting there, and like I'd take him out, and he'd hop around, and then when we were done, I'd like put him back and put the rock back. And this went on for like I think a month maybe of like me playing with this frog whenever I would go outside, and he was always just hanging out, and we had so many good adventures. And then one day I checked under the rock and he wasn't there, and I was really sad, and I was like, oh no, I guess he moved on, or he's out, he's busy today or something. Mm-hmm. So I kept checking back, and he wasn't there, and then eventually I find him, and he's a little bit bigger, but I'm like, hey, okay, he doesn't really behave like he used to, but that's fine. It's my frog. And I played with him, but I didn't really feel like it was right because he wasn't quite himself, and I was like, I could tell. So I put him back under his rock, and then I go to bed, and then I come back out the next day to check on him, and he was crushed to death by the rock, because that wasn't my same frog. It was a different frog. That was just bigger, and I guess like just never left the rock and just died in there. And I was so haunted by guilt that I never went back out to that side of the yard ever again, and it just became a no-go zone for me. And to this day, I'm still yeah.
Why did you put the frog under the rock? Was there a hole under the rock?
Yeah. It's like a burrow. And
okay.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not just like, this is your rock, and fucking like placing it down on him. It was like, no, he had like a little burrow there, and
thank God. All right.
And he would like come in and out of it. I didn't like decide this is where you live. This is like, that was his house. I just moved a different frog that didn't fit in that house into his house, and that frog did not like it there.
And then the rock collapsed on the hole, it sounds like?
Yeah, either that or like he couldn't lift it off.
Oh.
I don't know what the situation was.
So you suffocated the frog is what it sounds like.
There was the air could get in. But I don't think he could get out. So, whatever I didn't want to dwell on it. As soon as I saw what had happened, I was like haunted, and I kind of fled from that scene. I mean, I left the rock off, but by then it was too late, I think.
You didn't mean to, Criken.
I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to, and I don't think that you are that kind of person that would ever try and kill a frog. You are a very gentle, nice human being that would never do that to another living thing.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. I'm
just trying to reassure you, because you did kill that frog. You murdered it. Yeah.
I like how your reaction is basically straight out of a Charles Dickens novel, where something tragic happened, and then you basically walled physically and mentally that entire section of your house out of your existence.
I know.
So there's like cobwebs, but that part of the yard is like overgrown, and somebody's like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And you just get really quiet and weird. And like, we don't talk about that part of the yard anymore.
I mean, but think of all the like, crazy like backstory and character development I had as a kid, having killed my best friend frog, but it actually wasn't my best friend. It was just one that looked kind of like him. But I think deep down I knew it wasn't him, but I was like, I really wanted it to be. So like I convinced myself, and it ended up in a death.
There's an even more tragic side to the story, which is the frog that was actually your friend left. He couldn't tolerate you. So he left, and you killed another frog. Maybe, hold on a second, Criken, maybe subconsciously you were so angry that your friend left that you killed another frog in your rage.
I think you are potentially the worst psychologist I've ever heard. And I couldn't disagree more. But at the same time, I don't think this conversation is worth continuing anymore. So I'm just going to leave it there.
No, I was actually going to identify with Criken and say, any time that like a fish died, or like I had a lizard that died, or like, that kind of thing, you felt like, basically I felt like I killed him. Even if like the animal just died at night or whatever, I'd fed it, and I made sure it was warm enough, and I made sure it had its water was changed or whatever, and it still died. I was always like, fuck, man, I wonder if that fish, like if it had not been in my care, would it have survived? Did I kill it? Did I effectively kill this fish? And then I realized no, and I flushed it down the toilet, and I was fine. I let it go.
Yeah, Bruce is a man. He gets over these things quickly.
Right away.
Maybe a little too quickly, but
5 minutes, right away. Bang! The fish is gone. Throw it in the. It's one of my favorite Simpsons clips. I try not to quote the Simpsons very often, but it's one of my favorite, which is, it's they're at a veterinarian's office because they had to take Santa's little helper to the vet, and the vet doctor is working on this hamster, and he's like shocking it. He's like, clear, and it's like super dramatic. He's trying to bring this hamster back to life with the the paddles, and he can't do it. And he goes, "This is the part of the job I hate." And he picks it up by the tail and throws it in the trash can.
Doesn't it like hit a backboard and go through like a little basketball?
It does.
hoop?
It goes through a novelty basketball hoop, and it cracks me up every single time because like it's true. He's trying to keep this hamster alive, but what are you going to do with if the hamster dies? You're just going to throw it in the garbage. It's like it kind of sucks, but that's what's going to happen. So, I love that, man. I love that.
Criken, having done some cursory Googling a few years ago, I feel like I'm qualified to diagnose your condition. Or rather, let's see, prescribe treatment, I guess, is what I'm prepared to do. Qualified and prepared to do. There's something called exposure therapy, where you basically, through degrees, you get somebody closer and closer to the element of their fear, and then through exposure, they learn behavior patterns to basically overwrite their rational fear. So if somebody's afraid of elevators, you eventually get them closer and closer to stepping into an elevator and taking it and figuring out that nothing's wrong. So what I propose for you is that we get you another frog, potentially an even cuter frog. And then we start with pebbles, very small rocks. And you put a tiny little pebble on that frog every day. And you can perceive that frog is fine. And then we gradually step it up to larger and larger rocks. And before long, you'll be cured.
Okay. I'm having a hard time unpacking this.
Sure, exposure therapy is a complicated concept. I can pull it up here on Wikipedia.
What am I being cured of? B, how is this going to cure me? C, I already have the Pet the Peepo emote on my channel, so I feel like I've already done this.
Oh.
Yeah, but is the Peepo getting crushed by a giant rock?
It's a little hand and it pets him and he squishes.
See?
That's really nice.
I feel like you admitted yourself that you have such strong resentment and disgrace, shame even from this traumatic event. So what I endeavor to do is to relieve you of those horrible emotions that are dogging you even today, and I would say holding you back from your true potential.
I think I really had gotten over it until this actual podcast.
Yeah, you haven't.
Started talking
about
it. Yeah. It sounds like you have.
Yeah, no. Again, as somebody who's Googled a little bit, I can pretty much tell you haven't gotten over it at all. So
I'm gonna go ahead and say I wish I didn't tell this story, and thanks for the bit, guys.
No problem.
Bit. I've already told the story about how my rat died in childbirth. I think I've told you that. I've told that story 100 times, so I'm not going to tell it again. Either way, it was incredibly traumatic. And I'll never forget the size of that rat's womb as a baby was coming through it, and the terror, the look of terror on its face as it died in childbirth. I'll never forget. That's how I knew I wasn't a psychopath. Was when I saw this and I went, oh, and I started tears welled up and I started crying, even though it was just a rat. There are literally billions of rats, but it was my rat. Mm-hmm. And I felt terrible that I killed it.
It's life, and it's precious.
It's life, and it's precious. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Bruce, I'm prepared to prescribe a similar treatment to you.
Please do. Yeah, hand it over.
I say, this might get a little dicey, COVID and all, but I say we both, you and I'll do the heavy lifting here. We'll go into a hospital. We'll claim to be parents of whoever. Who knows? I'm sure we can weasel our way through it once we get there. But we get you closer and closer to birth. It sounds like that's where your trauma is. We get you in that hospital. We get you staring at some woman you've never met before in your life. And when that baby just explodes right on out of that birth canal, you'll be cured. Because you'll see that birth is not a traumatic experience. It's in fact quite beautiful. Provided that you shield yourself from the rocketing placenta and afterbirth that flies out of a human after that.
I will put it this way. I will go do that if only Criken also agrees to the frog exposure therapy.
No. I'm going to save us both from this.
All right. So he's not going to do it.
I will be the wet blanket on this bit, and I throw myself willingly onto the fire.
Somebody needs to send Criken a frog. That's what needs to happen. Somebody needs to send Criken a frog.
Do not send me a frog.
In a tank, in an amphibious tank, so that you and the frog can live out 10 years of life. I don't know how long frogs live, but you guys can be friends forever. And then when he dies at the ripe old age of 10 or whatever, however long frogs live, then you can be like, hey, I have done your species okay. It's like what I want to do with tortoises. I want to have a tortoise that lives for 150 years that I can pass on to my children. So that way, the tortoise will carry on my legacy. Because
I had a pet turtle too.
I mean, I did too. I had a pet turtle for 10 years, but he left.
He left?
Yeah, an ex-girlfriend had him in a yard, and then she left the gate open, and he bailed.
Must have taken a while.
I mean, yeah, it did. He's a turtle. But they left it open overnight, so he's gone. Either way, I want a tortoise, because those guys live for a really long time, and they've seen everything.
Yeah.
They're wise beyond their years. And I think the secrets of the universe are locked in turtles. I don't know if you guys think that, but I do.
I definitely think that.
Okay,
interesting take. Okay.
Interesting take. Did you guys not see the end of Avatar?
Okay, fair.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to see you expound on that with more evidence than Avatar.
There's lots more evidence.
Is it locked in turtles as in like they know but they're just not going to tell, or like literally there's a little message in every turtle and you just got to find it?
There's a little message in every turtle. Come on.
Like a fortune cookie.
Yes, about life, and yes, like a fortune cookie. Yes to both of your answers. Everyone knows that turtles are the best.
Yes.
I
agree.
feel strongly that immortality will be unlocked when we can transfer our human consciousness into the body of a tortoise.
Oh, I would love to do that.
That would be fantastic.
Man.
Only downside, harder to play video games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We could get around that.
Yeah. Microsoft got that adaptive controller. They're thinking ahead. They're in the year 3030. Maybe Microsoft already has a Eternal Gamer Tortoise in their basement, and that's why they made the controller.
Eternal Gamer Tortoise.
Wow, that is a horrible way to sideline anyone with a slight disability that actually uses those as a real human to play video games. No, it's for the turtles.
Well, these are all jokes, guys. We're just telling jokes.
I was thinking that more as like a gamer tag. Eternal Gamer Tortoise. I would totally make that my shtick, dude.
I mean, you can do that now if you wanted to. Change your gamer tag right now.
You think I can rebrand right now? I think I'm like a bit far in on Criken, but
no. You just you have Criken and Criken 2.
Yeah.
Then make Eternal Gamer Tortoise 1. Make that channel. There you go.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
Everybody loves tortoises, right? Chat.
Yep.
Everyone loves them.
Have you guys played I feel like, Lawrence, you played EDF, right?
Oh yeah.
No.
Have you used the air tortoise? I always think about the air tortoise when I think of tortoise.
Air tortoise is a magnificent weapon befitting of the most intelligent and wisest of animals.
Yes.
I was going to say, like your gimmick for being the Eternal Gamer Tortoise, it has to be like you play very slowly, but you're incredibly wise throughout your video game playing.
That's right.
I've wondered about that.
We all know the tortoise and the hare story. We all know. Slow and steady wins the race.
If the fast one sleeps first.
Yes. But the fast one will sleep first because he's fast and he burns a lot of energy. No.
Okay.
Not always.
Not always. The Olympics, I feel like, is a good example that often people can keep running without sleeping.
You're right about that. I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
You got me there.
You got to be there.
All right. Well, you win that one.
I've wondered about that though. So through the magic of Twitch streaming, I would say have kind of like archetypes of the way people play games. There's people who play extremely well, so you watch them for their skill at the game, whether it's an esports player or something like that. You watch people that maybe have a certain niche of the kinds of games they play and the way they talk about them. People that play like older, weirder games from other markets and sort of share lore about it. When are we going to get somebody who plays games artistically? Like they play a game like they're performing at a concert. And when you watch their gameplay, it's just the gameplay, the buttons they hit, the camera.
Criken's pointing at himself.
It's Criken? It's you? You're the Steven Spielberg of Let's Plays?
I don't play to win. I play for art. And I think a perfect example of this is my Total War series. I will set up amazing cinematic moments and I will bring in, I literally played opera, and I've slowed it down, and I get panning shots, and you see like the giant, unhinged maw of the Morn Ghoul like leaping on a poor Empire soldier and dropping him in his gullet as like, the music drops, and then like I slowly pan around and we see, a character moving away. That's all on live stream. That sounded more arrogant than I meant. I was trying to say on YouTube, Bed Bananas is the one to go to if you're looking for actual, machinima nowadays. There's very few machinima channels left, I think, that still, actually try to pull out art like that. But I can, I am a little biased because he's my friend. But even if I wasn't, I'd say the same thing.
Lawrence, I just realized you guys just invented machinima.
Yep.
Machinima's been around forever.
Yeah, the name. Yeah, it's funny that the name has persisted beyond the company, and is now,
I know.
It's gone back to being what it originally was, like describing an actual concept and expression instead of a overhyped company run by a bunch of creepers. Yeah,
I love that it started off as this thing and then like got muddied, but then the identity of it has stayed pure through the whole thing.
Absolutely, yeah. We all remember Machinima for what it was, which was basically red versus blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was high art, is what it was.
I guess people. I'm trying to think of the big heavy hitters. There was like Bob and Steve, the like Splinter Cell clips on G4.
Yeah,
things that people associate with Machinima. Yeah, it's pretty much just red versus blue. Oh yeah, RB and the Chief. Yeah, that's true.
RB and the Chief. I like that one.
Wait, that's not Machinima. That's not in a game. That was just stop motion.
Uh-oh.
Whoopsie. Bing bong.
Doozy.
Whoopsie.
Time to start banning people in chat because they're wrong.
Same with red versus blue. I don't know when they converted to it, but they just started animating it. It wasn't even in Halo anymore.
It wasn't a... Yeah, I guess where do you draw the line? Does it have to be in a game engine with a normal controller to be Machinima? I'm sure that there are
not a normal controller. What? No. Gross. Bad, Lawrence.
Hey, I'm just throwing out questions here. Apparently, Criken's very heated about this.
That was
you were in the
wrong
200-page
question.
thread. Oh, okay. Gatekeeping much? Okay, fine.
Look, I made machinimas. I made machinimas on machinima.net or whatever the fuck. And I also I make machinimas now with Ben. I help him with his stuff. And he has managed to actually. All right, I'm gonna rant. Not rant. What's the opposite of rant? I'm gonna rave about my buddy Ben for a second.
All right.
Do it.
He's starting to incorporate actual original mod tools into the games that he make machinima for in order to get like free cam stuff that didn't already exist. Like they're making mods for these games in order to get like effects that you couldn't possibly get in the base game or even with existing mods. And that's to me the next step is like when you actually have a team that can go in and like break a game down to its base components and then reassemble it to tell whatever story you want. So I don't know. I think there's still a future for that. YouTube isn't really the best place for it, but who knows? Maybe like a G4 down the road would be a good place for something like that.
You're talking about GTA RP. You're talking about like no pixel and stuff. That's kind of what I mean. Like they're building their own tools to make machinima and GTA.
I'd see instead of a machinima, the GTA RP is more of its own game platform and like role play medium that can be kind of reformatted for a machinima or just for a ongoing live stream series like a TV show, or both. You can make it recorded live and then edit it down in post, like a lot of us YouTubers have done. So I don't know. I think all of those models have a lot more they can go, like a lot more places they can go.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of you need a team behind it to make it really effective.
It sounds like you're
G4.
bragging.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're bragging.
Oh no, I'm more asking for money.
Yeah, he's dry begging for a production budget. He wants a slice of that 19 million or whatever.
I'm hoping that some sort of network, some producers are listening to this and they're going to be like,
well,
"Wow, he's right."
Have I got some news for you? There's a new network called Venn. It just launched.
No way.
And they're looking.
You've got a contact?
Do
you think you can put my name in? You can put in a good word for me?
Well,
thanks, Bruce. I need this, dude.
Me and Double M, or Mike Morheim, as most people know him. I
call him
Double
M.
I call him Double M. You can't call
I
him
do
that.
too.
We're friends.
I just call him Double M, but no one else knows who I'm talking about.
We've been friends for about 40 years. And Mike Morheim and I grew up together. He's my brother, actually. He's my brother.
What?
Yep. And
Bruce Morheim. Marine.
if you need me to put you in contact with him, I'm not going to do it. So.
Oof.
Your own brother?
Yeah, my own brother. No,
What?
I can't trust you around him.
Oof.
Why? What do you think we're going to do?
Ask him for money, like everybody does.
I'm not going to ask him for money. I'm going to ask him for an opportunity to make him money.
Criken, I love money. And I just have recently wandered into some investment capital. However,
What?
I love your idea, love it to death, wouldn't change a thing about it, but here's what I'm going to change. I have one word for you. Esports.
Oh, God.
You find a way to get esports in there, and we got us a deal.
Oh, boy.
That's what I saw that actually to pull us out of the joke a little bit. I saw that 100 times on all of the Venn descriptions. They were all like, it's the newest esports gaming network. But now it's not. Now it's like changed identities to just broad gaming.
It's just the easiest buzzword to get attention from a demographic of people that assume that's all that gaming is, you know. I don't know.
I think it was a safe way to get investment capital for a couple of years.
Yeah. But now not much anymore. I feel like there hasn't really been much of a return on esports in terms of for the investors. So I don't know how they feel about it. Can't imagine very good, but you know, who knows? Maybe there are still some holdouts that believe in it. I think competitive gaming is totally a thing that can be turned into more consistent shows. I just don't think modeling it exactly after every sports arena style show is the way to do it. I just think that's gonna, you know, there's no way to stand out from that anymore.
No one's figured out that formula. They just haven't. They haven't figured out how to broadcast esports to an audience that doesn't already know the game.
Yep. So. I will say I was actually pretty impressed at BlizzCon a few years ago, where I saw the Overwatch World Cup.
Overwatch got the closest, yeah.
Yeah, they had like these like really snappy like introductions of a map and what is going to happen on that map, and then the shoutcasters were like contextualizing every split-second decision in a really smart way. And even though I wasn't like a huge Overwatch guy, I found it really fun. So you know, that was pretty close.
Yeah, it's again I guess the same dynamic that we were talking about at the beginning with the prevalence of, again, another incredibly loud plane. I think there's a helicopter circling. Anyway, I guess this is the new truck. We don't have Bruce Truck anymore. Now we just have like truck. South Bay helicopter.
Did you delete the emote? Did you delete the emote, Bruce?
Oh no, I didn't delete it. It's still there.
Let's see that truck just for old time's sake, huh?
Yeah, you can put the truck emote in Lawrence's chat if you want to for the airplane.
I need to make a helicopter. But yeah, it's you guys have identified it as that every broadcast show like needs to get the broadest possible audience. So it's like we'll just put a little bit of that and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. So we get the Counter-Strike guys, we get the Overwatch guys, we get the Dota guys, we get them all in here, and they're all watching our show. The problem, oh look at all those trucks, that's beautiful.
I know.
The problem is like all of those people have much better and more targeted and faster sources for all the information they could get in this roundup show. And they already got it 5 days ago. So why would they go out of their way to a place they don't watch content to watch a roundup show that tells them what they already know? And kind of like Bruce said, it has to, or kind of like Bruce had meant, it has to give them something they don't have already, which is where personality comes in.
Always.
We would see this all the time.
Hold the phone. Lawrence, are you saying that gamers don't have personality? You just said they need something that they don't have. Which is personality.
I mean,
are we gonna cancel Lawrence, everyone?
Are you trying to get them to cancel? Don't get them to cancel Lawrence.
I'm trying to get the heat off me after the whole podcast. You guys really been coming at me.
We have. I'm sorry.
Criken's making good. This is podcast lore. A long time ago, I challenged Criken to cancel somebody, and he refused because he's a nice guy.
That's right.
I'm redeeming
he's making
it now.
good on that. Yeah, he's being a good friend by He's being a good friend by playing along with a bit that I thrust on him without any warning.
No bit.
Oh, never mind.
Real,
He's actually
real
trying
hurt
to,
feelings.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Criken. I'm sorry that you thought we were coming after you, buddy.
That's okay. I've made my peace with what happened with the frog many years ago.
Did your frog have a name, by the way?
No.
No, he didn't have a name. Okay.
But then
So
again,
he must
I named my turtle. So like,
So it's just frog and turtle.
yep, the two best friends. They played together actually. I had them both at the same time, so I would.
I'm
bring
sure
them
they
up.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wow. You had a whole Call of the Wild thing going on in your backyard there.
Yep. And the worms. That's about it.
Did you live in a house in the mud?
No, we just had a nice backyard for a few years, and then we moved. So
Was it nice? Was it nice? It sounds
Yeah.
like it was a bunch of mud.
You can find mud anywhere, Bruce. I know you've lived in LA a long time, but you know, when you mix dirt with water, you get mud. And guess what? There's a lot of dirt in the world.
You know what, chat? I'm still going after Criken, and I don't mean to. I'm sorry.
It's
I
just
don't
an
mean to
easy
go after-
target. All right, I see how it is.
Well, he's talking about frogs, and it's pretty easy to talk about baby Criken playing with frogs.
Criken is an emotional sock monkey, unfortunately. It's not your fault. That's
What
just
does
how
that
things
mean?
turned out.
I don't actually know what that means. Yeah, what does that mean?
Is sock monkey like? Do you punch sock monkeys or do you just hug them?
I think it's a little bit of both, which is I guess to be frank, I'm not entirely sure what that means either. It just felt right to say. But when I see a sock monkey, it's something that's like it's cute and fuzzy, and you don't wish it any harm, but you do end up grabbing it by the leg and slinging it into the wall anyway.
I see.
And you don't want to hurt it, but you just have to do something. Like you have to abuse it somehow. It's Call of the Void, I guess.
That seems unhealthy.
It does seem unhealthy.
I'm not the one who
I would
murdered
agree.
a frog when I was a kid, so I don't know, man.
Oh.
Sorry, that was actually probably a little too cutting. My bad.
That was out of left field.
I murdered a
uncalled for.
completely different kind of animal. So I got a
What,
skeleton
a
of
human?
a bird in my closet. No,
Yeah,
it
what did you kill?
was a bird.
Wait, did you actually kill the bird, or what happened?
It died. Probably because I turned it into a pet, even though it very much was not a pet. We found like an injured parakeet outside, and then I sort of took after it for a while. But I think I left my blinds open one day, and I think it just ran full on into the window. Because when I walked in, it was dead on the floor and a teeny little pool of blood on the carpet.
It slammed into the window and killed itself?
I can only assume. And then I buried it in the front yard. I was crying then too
Ooh.
because I felt specifically like it was like I was a bad bird caretaker. Also, that bird was a demon. So it was a weird mix of. I did not feel
So
good.
you did a service.
I didn't feel good that it was gone out of my life, but it would basically like it shit everywhere. You know, as a bird, I didn't really hold that against it. But it would also like it would squawk really loud and like a particular frequency that would just like rattle my brain. And then once we had achieved a certain level of familiarity, it would like fly onto my desk and bite me and then fly away and then start squawking, which sounded particularly like human laughter, just the worst kind of human laughter. So
You got
So it was
bullied by this bird.
It was mocking you.
A little
is
bit.
what it was doing.
yeah, and I guess truly what it is you're naming things that birds do. Sort of, yeah. I mean, I was like 14. You know, I was not an ornithologist.
It
this is
sounds like you didn't want a bird, and then you got a bird, and then
you
wished
didn't
your
want
bird would
No.
die, and then it did die.
That's where the guilt comes from. Is that I had a fair amount of umbrage towards this bird for basically providing me zero emotional satisfaction for keeping it alive and nourishing it back to health. In fact, it tormented me nonstop.
Yeah, it doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It hates you.
So that I did feel some resentment towards it, and then it died. And then I felt like maybe subconsciously I wanted it to happen. I certainly did not, you know, that day take every precaution in making sure that bird would not ram itself to death on a window. Also, it very clearly wanted to go outside back to its habitat, which I was preventing it from doing. So, you know, that's all kinds of on me, I think.
Yeah, you killed it.
I don't know if this gets us closer or further away from each other, Criken, emotionally.
Well, I mean, you guys both killed animals inadvertently. I would say that's like a involuntary manslaughter charge.
But isn't the definition of manslaughter slaughtering man? Wouldn't it be involuntary?
But it's involuntary, meaning you didn't.
Oh, okay. Have you ever fucking like done roadkill? You know, run over something when you're driving?
I have once. I hit a cat. Yeah.
There you go. I
hit a cat.
That's worse.
I immediately pulled over because, by the way, it was on the cat was on a fucking freeway on ramp.
Oh,
the worst possible place for a cat to be. Because if it's on a road, I'm steering like I don't want to hit it. I'm steering around it. Right. It doesn't matter if it's a cat or dog or whatever. I'm going around it. But there was no stopping getting on the 405 at like 7 p.m. and a cat runs out straight in front of me. And you got to plow right through it at that point. You just got to go all the way through and hopefully you kill it. Hopefully it dies a fast death because if you hit it the wrong way and then it just lays there for a while. So I pulled over. I pulled over to see if I'd hit it because then I was going to try and put it out of its misery if it was like laying there hurt. But it made it off the road. So it wasn't there anymore. So that cat may have gone on to live a completely full life.
Wait, so you hit it.
I know I hit it.
And it limped away, and you're like, huh?
I mean, that's what I was a freeway on ramp. I could stop there.
Like, hunt it down. Bruce like puts 2 fingers in a little dab of blood, sniffs it, and then like crouches down on all fours, and he's away.
He probably sent it flying somewhere.
I mean, I probably did. You're probably right. I think I knocked it like senseless in the bushes.
Meet Joe Blacked it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that I did.
Got combo.
I felt horrible. I'm like. It's like I said, it's one of those things where I've always steered out of the way to make sure I don't hit anything in the road because I don't want to do that. But I felt terrible. There's nothing I could do. I didn't even see it. Like I saw a flash of black and then boom, like my car went boom, like a speed bump. And I was like, and I pulled over and felt terrible. But that was it. You know, sometimes it's just the way you know what, Criken? Lawrence, you guys may just walk out onto the street one day and just get hit by a car.
That almost happened.
Yeah.
I came very close to death one day in LA with that exact same thing happening. I had it was a walk sign. I was walking across the street. It was 3 a.m. And we were in a busy intersection during the day. At night it was empty, and this car comes out of fucking nowhere and whips around the corner without checking. And I literally had to leap backwards, or I would have gotten knocked completely underneath it.
See, you could have been that cat. You could have been the cat. And it's just one of those things every day we got to go, boy, thank God I'm not that cat on the 405 on-ramp.
Jeez. Yeah. Some days yours is Bruce, some days yours is a cat.
Yes. Hopefully you're never the cat on the 405 on-ramp. Hopefully that is never a thing that you are. You don't ever want to be there.
Well, it's good to hear that we've all involuntarily killed animal at some point, and we can all live with that guilt together. I see a lot of people in chat acting like we're some sort of monsters. Okay, yeah. Look at you all on your high pedestals. I bet you've all done some things you're ashamed of, and you didn't mean to necessarily, but that makes us human, right? We learn, we grow, and we learn. And I have not harmed a single animal, except I guess bugs, since that point. Oh, and all the meat I eat, I guess. That too.
Autumn says that bugs are not animals. Autumn says that bugs are aliens. So we're allowed to kill them.
I often let bugs out of my house if I catch them.
Well, that's good. If they're daddy long legs, I let them live in the corners because they're good spiders. They kill other spiders. That's what
but other spiders kill other insects.
Yeah.
They do.
It's a delicate balance.
They do. It's a delicate balance. So like if they're in places in the house that like they should be, meaning like they're in the corner on the ceiling or whatever, like they're just like hanging out over there, we're good. Totally fine. But if one's crawling through my bed, like I gotta kill it. Like I'm sorry. I'm not allowing this thing to make a home in the place that I sleep. Or like in the toilet or something. But if it's like, hey, if it's a spider and it's hanging out in the corner of my room, it's got a little spider web up there, hey, no big deal. He's doing work. He's just trying to live just like I am.
Counterpart or counterpoint, you will never get proportionate strength of a spider if you kill all the spiders around you. What if Peter Parker slapped that spider? I guess he did, actually. He killed it as soon as it bit him.
He killed it right afterward, yeah.
Yeah, never mind. I mean, a poor segue though. Are you guys heated at all about Spider-Man being exclusive to PS4?
Oh,
PS4 Marvel Avenger game. Yeah, I figured it'd be deep shrugs all around.
That's kind of what it is. So, is it people are upset because he's in the Avengers game, and is that what's
only for PS4? Only coming in 2021.
It's because of Sony and the movie rights transferring.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah,
it makes total sense to me. But I mean, so Spider-Man is only in the PS4 version or PS5 version, I guess, whatever, of the Avengers. Is that correct?
Yeah,
4 and 5, I think. Yeah.
So I guess my question for that is is he just not an integral part of the story then? Because developers, I sure couldn't have made him, a main character in the the PS4 version and not the Xbox version, right?
It's coming after launch, so the game ships with a story mode.
Oh, it's like a DLC thing, maybe?
I think so, yeah. Because the game comes out this year. Spider-Man's coming out.
Or do they green screen him into every cutscene of hey guys, I'm also here. Let's go. And that's how I would do it.
Well, they pause them all so they do their lines, and then they all freeze, and then Spider-Man goes, "Yeah, guys, let's go." And then he whips away.
Walks onto camera, out of perspective with everyone. He's way too big or small, standing in the middle of the screen. I can't wait to go on an adventure with everybody. Thwip, thwip, and then
he just he slings in and out of every shot, and then it just continues as it was meant to be.
Can we just educate everybody and be like, hey, exclusivity is okay because they probably helped pay for the game, they probably helped make it? Is that something? Does that not count for everything, Lawrence? I don't know what you think.
I mean, I'm bummed. I like Spider-Man, and I'm going to play it on PC.
Oh, yeah.
That said, I don't know. I feel like it's okay to say what you want, and I feel like that's a kind of a bummer of a move. People reference Soul Calibur 2, but Soul Calibur 2 had an exclusive character for every platform. This is just one character for one platform, and no one else gets to play that character. And also, the game is going to be cross-platform, which feels a little raunchy too. So, if you're on Xbox or PC, presumably you'll get to see other people run around as Spider-Man, but you won't get to play that character.
Ooh. Sorry, don't mind me.
Criken's rubbing it in. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a a world of gaming, Criken, that it seems like you really don't care much about.
I don't care much about it at all. But I love cheering on the sides to see them, butt heads more, because that's fun.
That is where all the controversy is most of the time, right? It's it's only the big. I guess it makes sense, the biggest budget, highest profile games get the most following, and then when anything happens, then that's when people get really bent out of sorts. So, yeah, I feel like has anything been truly platform exclusive forever? There's probably a few examples, but
Halo, yeah.
Halo's on PC.
That's Microsoft.
Microsoft. But I mean, no,
I mean, I guess I mean add-on content or DLC or something like that.
God of War has been, I think, exclusive to all Sony PlayStations, right?
Yeah, full games are exclusive. I'm just trying to think add-on content feels eventually it goes multi-platform. It's just people buy exclusivity windows, and during that window, you're obviously not allowed to announce that it's coming to anything else, because that's the whole goddamn point of the exclusivity window. So part of me feels like that data, that content will come to other platforms eventually. They're just not allowed to say it right now. Yeah, I mean, you guys are just chat's listing the biggest, most obvious stuff. Yeah, I know, Mario, Uncharted. Yes. I just meant more like DLC and add-on content that is platform exclusive.
I think COD normally does that with PS4. They'll do specific skins or a map or whatever, but I don't think it lasted very long, or maybe it'll last for 6 months and then it'll go all platforms.
Yeah, well, I think the closest you're gonna get are skins, right? Some
Destiny 1 had some stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess there's that Spec Ops mode in Modern Warfare that was only on PlayStation. I don't think that ever went anywhere else. Yeah, Destiny 2.
I got one. The earbuds in TF2 as a hat that you would only get if you played on the Mac.
I had the white earbuds.
Yep.
And I felt like a sucker because somebody just hey, can I have those? And I remember at the time being I don't care. And I gave them away, but apparently they're worth a good amount of money.
Yeah, I sold mine for cheap too back when I didn't realize.
You could. Oh yeah, you could sell them. I had them. Fuck, I didn't. I never sold them. You think I could go back and sell them right now?
Hell yeah, bro. That's $40 in your pocket, maybe.
$40, really?
Possible. I don't know how the economy is now. There was a whole crash where they figured out how to get there. Actually, this was a funny story. I remember on Twitter, it popped up. The TF2 economy has crashed after this many years, and it was because there was like a Stack Overflow error in like one of the you know, like the crates you would open to get get hats. Well, there was a specific series of crate that you were guaranteed to always get an unusual hat, which was the most expensive thing. Mm-hmm. And once that was like, you know, whenever that happened, basically everyone got unusual hats, you know, immediately. Right. And the economy just went just all over the place. How much is it? $16 now?
I mean, that was the momentary high in like the middle of July. Now it's averaging around like $8.
Can you go back years and see how much it used to be at?
That's like one dinner. That's like one dinner.
And
I can eat dinner for $8.
Wait, lifetime? Eh?
$42. I told you, man. $40.
Why does Lifetime only go back to September? That's weird.
Well, weird.
September what? Oh, yeah, you're right. September
17th. Is that when the crash happened?
No, that's September 2017 is what it is.
Oh, is that what?
But that's still way later than
it's
when
not.
people were selling stuff.
Yeah, that graph is wrong. What the fuck? I don't know.
I don't know either. Come
Either
on,
way, I'm
Valve.
rich.
Yeah.
I am rich. I'm going to go sell those right now. Who wants to buy my earbuds?
I'll buy your real life earbuds.
No.
Okay.
They have to be in Team Fortress 2.
There's one guy who has like 12 listings for earbuds. Man, Steam is so weird.
Yeah. Some people make actual, like, you know,
just
consistent money off that, right?
Steam items, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lawrence, I think we made it to the end, huh?
I think we did. Yeah.
We did it.
Why did you not? Well, Criken, we made it to the end.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Criken, we made it to the end because Lawrence is running the thing.
Whatever, dude. Whatever.
He knew that I needed to use the bathroom, and he's giving me the go ahead. So.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever, bro.
Bizarrely in the last week, I think I've heard no less than 4 times that real gamers piss their pants. So that's your Talk to the Internet challenge for this week. You got a game so hard that you pee yourself.
Do it.
I do not endorse this.
Send us pictures of the leakage on your pants.
God, no, guys, they're gonna do this.
No, they're not. I'm not. Well, no. All right, I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's disgusting. Don't send me pictures of your urine.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to Talk to the Internet.
I'm sorry, NordVPN. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. I promise the next one will be better.
There's no way for it not to be. Goodbye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, everyone.